Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to solve a Pearson Edexcel GCSE high tier paper of mathematics. It's paper 1, it's non-calculator, and it is of May 2020. So I will solve the questions over here in front of you and I'll explain them, of course, and if you have any confusion you can mention in the comment section, so I'll be more than happy to reply you back. So let's start off from question number 1. Let's read the instructions first of all. We can use black ink. Calculators are not allowed, of course, and you have to show all the working, you have to answer all the questions, and the diagrams in the questions are not accurately drawn, and that's it. Let's move on. So here's the question number 1. It says write your answers in the space provided. You must write all the stages in your working. So we have the question number 1. It says the first 5 terms of an arithmetic sequence are 1, 4, 7, 10, and 13. Write down an expression in terms of n for the nth term of this sequence. Well, in an arithmetic sequence, the difference is common. So as you can see over here, the difference between 1 and 4 is 3. 4 and 7, it's 3. 7 and 10, it's 3. 10, 13, it's 3. So there's an easiest method to write down the expression for this arithmetic sequence. You'll write this 3 as 3n. And think of a number that you will add into 3, so you will get the first term. So it could be addition, it could be subtraction. So it will be minus 2. We subtract minus 2, we subtract 2 from 3, so we'll get 1. So the expression will be 3n minus 2. There you go. So that's your answer. Now in order to check it, if you substitute n equals to 1, your answer should give you 1. So it will be 3 times 1 minus 2, that will be equal to 3 minus 2, that will be equal to 1. So it's correct. For example, look at over here, number 10. This is the fourth term. Fourth term means the value of n will be equal to 4. So if you put n as 4, let's check whether we get 10 or not. So it'll be like 3 times 4 minus 2. So 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 2 will be equal to 10. So yeah, we got the fourth term, that is 10. So this expression is working for all the terms, and that's our final answer. So over here we'll write it as 3n minus 2. I have done this whole working for the checking purpose. You may skip it if you want. So 3n minus 2 is the final answer for question number 1. Now let's see question number 2. So in this question it says show that the left side of this equation is equal to the right side. So we'll just need to convert this mixed fraction into the improper fraction, and then we will convert that improper fraction into the mixed fraction. So let's convert it. Let's take this one. So you will multiply 3 with 2, that will become 6. 6 plus 1 will become 7. So this will turn into 7 divided by 3 in the form of an improper fraction. Multiply by, let's take this one. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. So it will become 15 over 4. Now, because it's these fractions are being multiplied, so we'll multiply the numerator and multiply the denominator. But before that, we'll just do some simplification. So we can cancel this 3 and 15. 3 times 1 is 3, and 3 times 5 is 15. So I'll cancel 15 and write 5 in place of 15. Now 7 times 5 makes 35 divided by 4. Now let's convert that into the mixed fraction. So I'll just divide. This is 35 over here, 4 here, and 4 times 8 makes 32. Alright, 32 here. 35 minus 32 will become 3. So in the mixed fraction, that's the quotient, that's the remainder, and that's the divisor. So it'll become 8 whole number 3 over 4. That's done. Finish. Now number 3. It says the diagram shows 4 graphs. Graph A, B, C, and D. Each of the equations in the table is the equation of one of the graphs. Complete the table. So these are the sketches of some of the graphs. I'll explain it to you. So the first one is the sketch of y equals to 1 over x. It's called the inverse function. So it belongs to, this equation belongs to graph A. And this graph D is a square function, it's a quadratic function, so the second last equation belongs to graph D. Now these two graphs are the cubic graphs, but they're opposite to each other. For example, graph C is representing y equals to x cube, and graph B is representing y equals to negative x cube. So it's just a flipped version of graph C. So y is equal to x cube is our graph C, and y equals to negative x cube is our graph B. So that's how you'll have to identify them and write down the exact graph in front of the equation. So that was for question number 3. Let's move on to question number 4. In this, it says the diagram shows 4 triangles, triangle A, B, C, and D. 2 of these triangles are congruent. Write down the letters of these 2 triangles. Congruent means all the angles and all the lengths has to be equal to each other. Okay, all the angles and all the lengths has to be equal to each other. So let's see. For example, for the first triangle, one length is given. The angles are 45, 55, and we don't know the third angle, so let's find it out. We'll subtract both the angles from 180. So in order to find out the third angle, we will do 180 minus 55 minus 45, because the sum of all the angles in a triangle is 180. So it will become 80 degrees. So this angle will be equal to 80 degrees. Now 55, 45, and 80. Let's look for something like that. And the side that is opposite to 80 degree is of 10 centimeter. In this triangle, we have a 45 degree, we have 10 centimeter, but the side opposite to 45 is 10, but we want the side that is opposite to 80 degrees 10. So the angle 80 degree and 10 centimeter are opposite to each other. Over here, 45 and 45 degrees and 10 centimeter are opposite to each other. So this will not be the option. In this scenario, 10 centimeter is opposite to 55 degree of angle, but over here, as you can see, 10 centimeter is opposite to 80 degrees. So in this case, triangle A and triangle B will be the congruent triangles, which means this angle is 80, that one is 45, 80, 45. So this angle would be 55. So these 2 triangles are exactly same to each other. So it's triangle A and D. So in the answer, we'll write A and D. Okay, so that was question number 4. Now number 5. It says Sean pays £10 for 24 chocolate bars. He sells all 24 chocolate bars for 50 pence each. Work out Sean's percentage profit. So percentage profit will be, let me just write down the formula first of all for that. So percentage, that's the shorter version of percentage. Percentage profit will be equal to total sale that he did minus the total cost divided by the total cost multiplied by 100. So this will be the formula for the percentage profit. So let's find out, let's check the cost. So his cost was £10 for 24 chocolate bars, and he sold each chocolate bars for 50 pence. 50 pence is equal to 0.5 pounds. So let's find out the total sale that he did. So 24 times 50 pence. So we'll just multiply it like 24 times 5 is like 120. So it'll become 1200 pence. So let's convert the pence into pounds. So in 1 pound, there are 100 pence. So if you want to go from pence to pounds, we have to divide it by 100. So 1200 pence will be equal to 1200 divided by 100 pounds. So it'll become 12 pounds. So this is the sale that he did. That's the revenue that he got. So the percentage profit will be equal to percentage profit will be equal to 12 minus 10 over 10 times 100. So 12 minus 10 is like 2. 2 over 10 times 100, that will be equal to, this 0 and this 0 will get cancelled, so 2 times 10 will become 20. So it'll become 20%. So its profit is 20%. So you have to keep that formula in your mind, that the percentage profit is equal to the sale minus the cost divided by the cost times 100. So that was question number 5. Now let's move on to number 6. It says ADC is a triangle. ADC, there you go. ADC, that's triangle, and AED and ABC are straight lines. Okay, EB is parallel to DC. All right, angle EBC is like 148, angle ADC is 63. Work out the size of angle EAB. We have to work out this angle, this one. All right, so we have two parallel lines. So these two lines are parallel, and this line is intersecting them. So when one line is intersected, when two parallel lines are intersected by one line, then we have some angles that are equal to each other, and we have some angles whose sum is equal to 180. For example, this angle is 63 degrees. So over here, this angle will also be 63 degrees because they are the corresponding angles, and the corresponding angles are equal. So if you have two parallel lines and one line intersect them, so these two angles will be equal to each other. We call them the corresponding angles. So this angle is 63. Now look over here, that's 148, and the sum of the angles on a straight line is equal to 180. So 148 plus something should be equal to 180. So in order to find out, we'll subtract 148 from 180. That will be equal to 32 degrees. So this angle will be equal to 32 degrees. Now in order to find out the third one, we will just subtract 63 and 32 from 180 degree. So it'll be like 180 minus 63 minus 32. So 60 plus 30 is 90. 3 plus 2 is 5. So it'll become 95. That's how I add. So 180 minus 95 will be equal to it'll be equal to 85. So this angle, this unknown angle, is equal to 85 degrees. That's how we'll do that. So the final answer will be equal to 85 degrees. Angle EAB, 85 degrees. There you go. Okay, that was a 5 marker. Nice. Okay, now number 7. It says the table shows information about the heights in centimeter of a group of year 9 girls. This stem and leaf diagram shows the information about the heights in centimeter of a group of 15 year 9 boys. Compare the distribution of the heights of the girls with the distribution of the heights of the boys. So in this question, we have been given the data of the girls over here and the data of the boys over here. So let's compare it. First of all, let's compare the range for the girls. So the range for the girls will be equal to the maximum value minus the minimum value. So the maximum value is 170 centimeter and the minimum is 150. So our range will become 170 minus 150. That will be equal to 20 centimeter. And the median is already given. It's like 165 centimeter. So we have the range and we have the median to compare with. Now let's find out the range from the data of the boys and the median. So median is basically, it's the middle number in the data. Range is the maximum number minus the minimum number. In order to read out this data, for example, we have 15. It's a stem and leaf diagram. This part of the diagram is called the stem, and that part of the data is called the leaf. So for example, if you have to read it out, we will read it like this is 15 and 8. We'll read it as 158 centimeter. 15 and 9, we'll read it as 159 centimeter. So let me just write this whole data down, and from there we'll work out the range and the median. So it'll be like 158, 159, again 159, then comes 164, 165, 167, again 167, 168. Now the third row, 170, 173, 174, again 174, 177. The last row is 180 and 182. For the median, we have to look for the middle number. So the middle number, let's count the total numbers over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So they have total 15 terms. In order to get to the middle term, we will do 15 plus 1 divided by 2. That will give us 16 over 2, which will be equal to 8. So the 8th term will be our median. So look for the 8th term. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is our median, 168. So for the boys, the median is 168 centimeter, and the range is the maximum minus the minimum. That will be equal to 182 minus 158. So 182 minus 58, like it's like 50. 82 minus 58, that will be equal to 224 centimeter. So this will be the range. So the median is 168 for the boys and the range is 24. Now let's compare this data with the girls. So for the girls, the range was 20 centimeter. The range was 20 centimeter, and the median for the girls was 165 centimeter. So the question will not finish here. We have to compare this data. So we will say the median height of the boys is bigger than the median height of the girls. Median height of the boys is more than the median height of the girls. And for the range of heights of boys is more than the girls. That means that the heights of the boys are more diverse than the girls. So that means the diversity of height, the diversity of heights of boys is more. That's very important. You have to compare. You are not supposed to only find out the median and the range. You have to compare the median and the range. So there will be the marks for the comparison. If you just leave it alone after finding the median and the range, you will not be able to score full marks. So you have to compare them. So that's it for question number 7. Now let's look at question number 8. So it says the diagram shows a prism placed on a horizontal floor. The prism has a height 3 meter. The volume of the prism is 18 meter cube. The pressure on the floor due to the prism is this much, 75 newtons per meter square. Work out the force exerted by the prism on the floor. And over here they also have given us the formula for the pressure equals to force over area. So pressure is equal to force over area, which means that our force will be equal to pressure multiplied by the area. Pressure multiplied by the area. Now the pressure is given. We have to work out the area of the base. So we have to find out this area of the prism. That's the base of the prism, and we have to work out the area of this base. Now, in order to find out the volume of the prism, we use a formula that goes like that. Volume is equal to area of base multiplied by the height. So we have been given the height, we have been given the volume, and we have to work out the area. So the volume is like 18 equals to a times 3. So a means for area. So let's divide both sides by 3. So it'll get cancelled. So the area will become equal to 6 meter square. Now we'll substitute this area over here in this formula, and from there we'll work out the force. So the force will be equal to pressure multiplied by the area. So the pressure is 75 and the area is 6. So 75 times 6. So it will be like 75 times 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 3 is the carry forward. 7 times 6 is 42. 42 plus 3 is 45. So it'll become 450. So it'll be like 450. And the unit of the force will be newtons. So we'll just write 450 with capital N. Capital N represents the newton. So the answer is 450. Alright. So that is it for question number 8. Now let's move on to number 9. Okay, in number 9 it says write these numbers in order of size from the smallest to the largest. So first of all, let's convert all of them into the ordinary form. This is the ordinary form and this is the standard form. These are the standard forms and this one is the ordinary form. So let's convert all of them into the ordinary form, then we'll compare them. But when we write down the answer, we have to write them in the same exact form as they are already written in the question. So let me just erase it. Let's convert the first number into the ordinary form. So it's like 6.72 times 10 to the power of 5. 6.72 times 10 to the power of 5. So since this 5 is positive, which means that our decimal will move 5 places to the right. 6.72, it will go 5 places to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will stop over here. So in the empty spaces, we'll fill them with zeros. So it will become 672,000. So this number over here has become 672,000. Let's convert the other one. 67.2 times 10 to the power of -4. Because it's -4, which means our decimal will move 4 places to the left. When the exponent is negative, we move our decimal 4 places to the left. When the exponent is positive, we move our decimal to the right. So let's move it to the left. Let me just empty some space over here. So that's our decimal. Let's move it 4 places to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4 over here. Let's fill the empty space with zeros, 0, 0. But we also have to put another 0 over here. So it will turn into 0.00672. Now let's do for the next one. 672 times 10 to the power of 4. Over here our exponent is positive. We'll just move our decimal 4 places to the right, but there's no decimal over here. So when there's no decimal, then by default the decimal is right at the end. So we have to move it 4 places to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. It will stop here. I will fill the gaps with the zeros. Okay, so it will become 672,000. So now we can easily compare all of them. So I'll just order them in terms of from smallest to the largest number. Let me just prioritize them. So the smallest one is here. This is the smallest one, so it will come at number 1 position. Then comes this number, this will come at 2nd position. Then we have 672,000, it will be at the 3rd position. Then we have 672,000, that's like around 6,720,000, so it will come at position number 4. So finally the order will look like this: 0.000672, and then 0.00672, and 672,000, and then 672,000. So this is the order from the smallest to largest. So that's how you'll do that. Now let's move on to number 10. Okay, in question number 10 it says given that a over b is equal to 2 over 5 and b over c is equal to 3 over 4, find a ratio b ratio c. So let me tell you over here, division, fraction, ratios, they're all same. For example, they have written a over b equals to 2 over 5. A over b can also be written as a ratio b. Okay, so we can just write it as in this form, that a ratio b is equal to 2 ratio 5. Similarly, b over c is equal to 3 over 4, so we can write it as b ratio c equals to 3 ratio 4. But we are supposed to work out a ratio b ratio c. So I'll just write it as a ratio b ratio c. Now a ratio b is how much? It's 2 ratio 5. So I'll write 2 underneath a, 5 underneath b. And over here we have b ratio c as 3 ratio 4. I'll add 3 under b and 4 under c. Okay. Now my aim is to make these two numbers same, so that I'll get my final ratio. So in order to make them same, I'll multiply the 5 with 3 and this 3 with 5, so both of them will become 15. But if I have to multiply this 5 with 3, I also have to multiply the 2 with 3 as well, so the fraction won't be disturbed. So the fraction remains 2 over 5. A ratio b stays 2 ratio 5. And over here I have to multiply this 3 with 5 and this 4 with 5 as well. So finally it will become 6 ratio 15, and over here 15 ratio 20. Now I'll just write them in the combined form, but I'll just write 15 only once. So it will turn into 6 ratio 15 ratio 20. So that's our answer for a ratio b ratio c. 6 ratio 15 ratio 20. So that's how we'll do question number 10. Now let's move on to the next one. Okay, number 11. Now it says find the value of root of 4 of 81 times 10 to the power of 8. So let's split it up. It can be written as root 4 of 81 times, I'm representing dot with multiplication sign, root of 4 of 10 to the power of 8. Now 81 can be written as 3 to the power of 4. Why? Because 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 makes it 81. So we can say that 3 to the power of 4 is equal to 81. So I'll write this 81 as 3 to the power of 4, and this root thing, it can be represented as bracket to the power of 1 over 4. So whenever you have a cube root, it is represented as bracket to the power of 1 over 3. So the exponent is 1 over 3. When you have the square root, then the exponent is 1 over 2. When you have root of 4, then the exponent is 1 over 4. So that's what I've done over here. Now in this scenario, this 4 and 4 will get cancelled because 4 times 1 over 4 will be equal to 1. So it will become 3. For this root 4 of 81, it will be equal to 3. Multiply by. Now let's solve this part of it. So it can be written as 10 to the power of 8 to the power of, due to root of 4, it will become 1 over 4. Now if you multiply 8 with 1 over 4, it will become times 1 times 2. So it will be like 3 times 10 to the power of 2. So 3 times 100, that will be equal to 300. So our final answer will be equal to 300. Alright. Now let's do part B. Find the value of 64 to the power of negative half. So first of all, we have to get rid of the negative sign, then we have to get rid of the fraction in the exponent. So first of all, we'll get rid of this negative sign, then we'll get rid of the exponent, the fraction. We'll get rid of the fraction in the exponent. So I will write, whenever we have to get rid of a negative sign, we will take the reciprocal of the whole, like of the complete number. So it can be written as 1 divided by 64 to the power of 1 over 2. So I'll bring this whole 64 in the denominator. If it were in the denominator, I would bring it up in the numerator. Now 64 to the power of 1 over 2. So I can write 64 as 8 square, because 8 times 8 makes 64. This 1 over 2 as it is, so this 2 and 2 will get cancelled. So finally my answer will become 1 over 8. So that's my answer, 1 over 8. Alright, now let's move to the next one. Let me just change the color, it becomes boring. Now in this question it says write 3 to the power of n divided by 9 to the power of n minus 1 as a power of 3. So my answer should look like 3 to the power of something. That's how my answer should look like. So I'll write it as 3 to the power of n divided by, for 9 I will write it as 3 square, because 3 square is 9. So 3 square to the power of n minus 1. Now it will become 3 to the power of n divided by 3 to the power of 2n minus 2. Why? Because this 2 will be multiplied with both n and negative 1. So it will become 3 to the power of 2n minus 2. Now when you have the same base and they are being divided, then their exponents are being subtracted. For example, you have x to the power of a divided by x to the power of b. So the bases are same, these are the bases. So the bases are same and they are being divided. So when the bases are same and they are being divided, then their exponents will be subtracted. So I'll write them in the form of a single base. So it'll be like x to the power of a minus b, like that. So we'll apply the same concept on this fraction. The bases are same, that is 3, 3, but the exponents are different, so we'll just subtract them. So it will be written as 3 to the power of n, this n, minus, now I'll have to subtract this whole thing. So I'll write that in the bracket 2n minus 2. So it'll become 3 to the power of n minus 2n plus 2. So n minus 2n is negative n plus 2 as it is. So it can be written as 3 to the power of 2 minus n. So this will be the answer, 3 to the power of 2 minus n. So we have represented this expression in the power of 3. So it's 3 to the power of 2 minus n. Now, alright, so question number 12. In this question it says the table gives information about the weekly wages of 80 people. Our table has been given. Complete the cumulative frequency table. So we have to complete this cumulative frequency table. So in the cumulative frequency table, we just add up the previous frequencies in the next row. For example, over here from 200 to 250 there are 5 people. So over here 200 to 250 will write 5 as it is. Then from 250 to 300 there are 10 people. Now you can do 10 plus 5. So 10 plus 5 will make it 15. I'll write 15 here. Then the next number is 20. Now 20 plus 15, that'll become 35. Then comes another 20. So 20 plus 35, that'll become 55. We'll write 55 here. And then we have 15. 15 plus 55, it'll become 70. We'll write 70 here. So 70 plus this 10 will become 80. So that's how you'll calculate the cumulative frequency. So we have filled up this table. Now let's see part B. In part B it says, on the grid opposite, draw a cumulative frequency graph for your completed table. 1 says 60% of this group of people have a weekly wage of 360 pounds or less. Is 1 correct or no? So let's draw its cumulative frequency graph and then let's see how it goes. So let me just take its picture, screenshot. So that's my cumulative frequency table. Alright, there you go. So over here, this is my cumulative frequency curve that I have. So I have to draw that table over here. Okay. Okay, so first of all, from 200 to 250, the cumulative frequency is 5. So that's 200. That's 250. And the cumulative frequency is 5. So we'll put a dot over here. We'll start from 0. At 250, we'll put a mark on 5. So this is 5 over here. Let's put a dot here. Then at 300, we'll put a mark on 15. 300, that's 15. Then on 350, it's 35. 350 and 35 right over here. Then we have 455. 455, this is 400. So 55 is right here. Then we have 450 and 70. That's 450 and 70. 450 and 70. That's 70 over here. And at 500 we have 80. There you go. So that's how my curve will look like. So my curve will go like this. Like that. There you go. Okay. Let me just mark it with the pen. There you go. Okay. So that's my cumulative frequency curve. Now let's see its question. What does it say? It says over here that 60% of this group of people have a weekly wage of 360 pounds or less. So let's find out 60% of 80. So 60% of 80, that'll be like 60 over 100 times 80. This 0 got cancelled, this 0 got cancelled, so it's like 48. So 60% of 80 is 48. So we have to check the price against 48. So let's go back onto the graph. So these are the people over here, and these are the wages, not the prices, wages. So against 48 we have to check. So this is 40, that's 45. So 48 will be like one small box is equal to 1 unit. That's 46, 47, 48. Now from 48, this is 48. Why 48? Because 60% of 80 was 48. So against 48, we will check the value on the graph. Okay, so against 48, we have to check the wage. Let me is it? I'll try it again. There you go. It's here. So that's 350, that's 400, and we have 10 boxes. So each box will be of like 5 units. 355, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85. So it'll be like 385 pounds. So against 60% we have the value of 385 pounds. Let's check over here. It says 360 or less. So it's not 360 or less, it's more than 360. So he is wrong. Okay, because against 48 the wage is 385 pounds. So 385 pounds is bigger than 360 pounds. So he said that the 60% of the people have wages less than 360, but 60% of the people have wages less than 385, not 360. Okay, so he's kind of wrong here. So here we'll say he's wrong, as 60% of this group has wages less than 385 pounds, not 360 pounds. All right, so that's how we'll work out this question. I hope you got it. And now let's move on to the next question. Okay, question number 13. Question number 13 says liquid A, liquid B, and are mixed to make liquid C. Liquid A has density of 70 kg per meter cube. Liquid A has a mass of 400 kg. Liquid B has density of 280 kg per meter cube, and liquid B has a volume of 30 meter cube. Work out the density of liquid C. So in order to do that, you need to know the formula for the density. So the density is equal to mass divided by volume. So we have to find out the mass of the liquid C, which means the total mass, and we also find out the total volume. Now from here we have been given the density and the mass, and from here we have the density and the volume. So we don't have the mass of liquid B. So let's work out the mass of liquid B first of all. Mass of B will be equal to, now as you can see over here in the formula, the mass will be equal to density times the volume. So in order to find out the mass of liquid B, you'll multiply the density and the volume. The density is like 280 and the volume is 30. So you'll multiply them and you'll get the mass. So 28 times 3. You'll just multiply 28 times 3. Become 24. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is like 8. So it'll become 84. 84, this 0 and this 0 will become 8400 kilogram. That's how you multiply. Now the total mass will become equal to 8400 plus 1400. So you'll just add 84 and 14. So that's like 84, 94, 98. It'll become 9800 kilogram. That's the total mass. Now let's find out the total volume. We have the volume of liquid B, but we don't have the volume of liquid A. So let's find out the volume of liquid A. Volume of liquid A will be equal to, so in order to find out the volume, it goes like that. Volume is equal to mass divided by the density. That's the volume. So mass divided by density, mass is 1400 and the density is 70. This will get cancelled. 140, so 14 divided by 7 will be 2, and this 0 as it is, so it will become 20 meter cube. So the total volume will become 30 plus 20, that will be equal to 50 meter cube. That's the total volume. Now in order to find out the density, we will divide the mass by the volume. So density is equal to mass over volume. Mass is 9800, volume is 50. This 0 and 0 will get cancelled, and 980 divided by 5, so we will just divide 9. Okay, so it'll be like 900 divided by 5 and 80 divided by 5. So 80 divided by 5 is like 18 or like 16. Okay, I'll just do it here. 980 divided by 5. Okay, so times 1, 5, 4, 8. Over here it'll be like times 9, 45, 3, 0 here, 6. So it'll become 196. So the density will become equal to 196 kilogram per meter cube. So that's how we'll find out the density of liquid C. So that is the density of liquid C. Okay, so yeah, that's done, and it does make sense because liquid A has a density of 70, liquid B has a density of 280. So when they are mixed together, of course the density will be higher than 70 and less than 280. So it's 196. Alright, so question number 14. It says Sally plays 2 games against Martin. In each game, Sally could win, draw, or lose. In each game they play, the probability that Sally will win against Martin is 0.3. The probability that Sally will draw against Martin is 0.1. Work out the probability that Sally will win exactly one of the 2 games against Martin. So in this case, the probability of winning is 0.3. So the probability of winning is 0.3. The probability of draw is 0.1, and the probability of losing will be equal to 1 minus the probability of winning minus the probability of draw, that will be equal to 0.6. So this is the probability of losing. Now let's make the combinations, and we'll choose the right combination to find out the probability. So because she played 2 games, so the combinations could be win-win, win-lose. Like in the first game she won, second game she lost, and then win, draw, lose, win, lose, draw, and lose, lose. Then comes draw, win, draw, lose, and draw, draw. So we have to choose our combinations for this probability. It says should be exactly 1. She should win exactly one of the 2 games. So our combinations would be win, lose, win, draw, lose, win, and draw, win. We will find the probabilities of these combinations and then we will add them up. So the probability of win, lose, probability of winning is 0.3. We'll multiply 0.3 with the probability of losing, that is 0.6. This is one of the combination, plus now the second one is win, draw. Win is 0.3 and draw is 0.1, plus lose, win. Lose is 0.6 and win is 0.3, plus draw, win. Draw is 0.1 and win is 0.3, like that. Now we'll just add them up. So 0.3 times 0.6, you'll think of it as 3 times 6, that will be 18, and it will become 0.18. Okay, plus again this one is 0.03. This will become 0.18 again, plus this will become 0.03. 0, 3. Now we'll just add them up. So it'll be just like 18 plus 18 is 36. 36 plus 3 is 39. 39 plus 3 is 42. Due to these decimals, it will become 0.42. So this will be your final probability. Okay. Right. So question number 15. In this question, it says the straight line L1 has the equation y equals to 3x minus 4. The straight line L2 is perpendicular to L1 and passes through the point 9,5. So find an equation of the line L2. So we have two lines. For example, that's L1. That's L1. And there's a line perpendicular to it over here. That's L2. And this point over here is 9, 5. We have been given the equation of line L1, that is 3x minus 4. 3x minus 4. So we have to find out the equation of line L2. Now, that's the standard equation, standard form of a straight line equation. So let's compare it with the equation of line L1. So it will be like 3x minus 4. M will be 3 and the y-intercept will be -4. But we are concerned with the slope. So the slope of L1 is 3. In order to find out the slope of L2, we will change the sign and take the reciprocal of 3. So change the sign, negative, reciprocal will be 1 over 3. So this is the slope of L2. Okay. So the equation will become y equals to -1 over 3x plus c. Now the problem is that we have to find out the value of c, the y-intercept. In order to find out c, we have to put this point into this equation. Now how can we put it? 9 is the x-coordinate and 5 is the y-coordinate. We'll put 9 and 5 into this equation and work out the value of c. So it will be like this. 5 is equal to -1 over 3 times 9 plus c. So it will become 5 equals to 3 times 1, 3 times 3, -3 plus c. Let's add 3 on both sides. This 3 and 3 will get cancelled. So c will become equal to 8. So finally our equation will become y equals to -1 over 3x plus 8. That's the final answer. Okay, so that's how I will do question number 15. Okay, so question number 16. It says Shirley wants to find an estimate for the number of bees in her hive. On Monday she catches 90 of the bees. She puts a mark on each bee and returns them to her hive. On Tuesday she catches 120 of the bees. She finds that 20 of these bees have been marked. Work out an estimate for the total number of bees in her hive. So it's quite simple. We have a relationship from here: marked bees and total bees. So out of 120, only 20 are marked. So if 90 bees are marked, then how much will be the total? Let's put it as x. Now we'll multiply them in cross and we'll work out the value of x. So it'll be like 20 times x will become 20x is equal to 90 times 120, 90 times 120. From here we'll work out the value of x. Divide both sides by 20. 0, 0 will get cancelled. 2 times 1, 2 times 6. 90 times 6 is like 630. So it'll become 630. So these are the total number of bees in the hive, 630. Okay. Now it says Shirley assumes that none of the bees, none of the marks had rubbed off between Monday and Tuesday. If Shirley's assumption is wrong, explain what effect this would have on your answer to part A. So if her assumption is wrong, so if the marks had been rubbed off, it means that in real this value would be more. If this value is more, then our answer will be lesser. Okay, So because he catches 120 bees, so if the marks have not been rubbed, then instead of 20 it could be 30. So if it were 30, then our bees, the amount of total bees would be left. So we will write if Shirley's assumption is wrong, then there would be less bees than estimated. Okay, why less bees? Because this value will be bigger, and if this value is bigger, our x will become smaller, because this 20 is opposite to x. So that's how we will do question number 16. Okay, so question number 17. It says make f the subject of the formula. So in this formula we have to make f as our subject. So let's do it. D is equal to 3 times 1 minus f over f minus 4. So d is like just d over 1, so let's cross multiply it. So it will become d times f minus 4 equals to, let's expand this bracket, so it will become 1 times 3 minus 3f. It will become df minus 4d by expanding this bracket equals to 3 minus 3f. Now we'll collect the terms with f on the left side and all the other terms on the right side. So let's add 3f on both sides, and let's add 4d on both sides. This will get cancelled, this will get cancelled. So on the left side we will have df plus 3f, and on the right side we will have 3 plus 4d. Now from these two terms I will take f as common, so I'll be left with d plus 3 equals to 3 plus 4d, or I'll just write the variable first and then the number after that. Like 4d plus 3. I'll divide both sides by d plus 3, d plus 3. This will get cancelled, so my final answer will be f equals to 4d plus 3 over d plus 3. So that's it. That's how we'll work out the value of f, and we'll make f as our subject. Alright, now question number 18. It says x is proportional to root of y, where y is bigger than 0, which means that y is positive. Y is increased by 44%. Work out the percentage increase in x. So we have to find out the percentage increase in x. So it's like this. X is proportional to y, okay, to root of y. So it will be like y is increased by 44%. 44% increase means 144%. It has become 144%. So 144% of y will be equal to 1.44 y. So in place of y, I will replace it with 1.44 y. So I'll write x is proportional to 1.44 of y. Now when I will take the square root of 1.44, it will be equal to 1.2. Why 1.2? Because the square root of 144 is 12. Similarly, the square root of 1.44 will be equal to 1.2. So it will become 1.2. Yeah, 1.2. So it will be like x is proportional to 1.2 of square root of y. So we will say that now this was basically equal to x. So that's our new x, that's our old x. So the new x will be proportional to 1.2 of our all x. So we will say that x has been increased by 1.2. 1.2, if you convert 1.2 into percentage, we will just multiply 1.2 by 100 and it will turn into 112%. So it will be 100 and sorry, it will become 120%. 120%. So it will become 120%. But since we want to find out the increase in the percentage, so the increase in percentage will only be 20% because 120% is the total. So the increase in percentage will be 120 minus 100, that will be equal to 20%. So that's the increase in percentage of x when y is increased by 44%. So it's 20%. Alright, so question number 19. It says f and g are functions such that f of x is equal to 12 over radical square root x. G of x is equal to 3 times 2x plus 1. Find g of 5. So it's quite simple. We have to find out g of 5. So we'll take the function of g of x, and wherever we see x, we'll substitute 5 into that. So my g of 5 will become equal to 3 times 2 times 5 plus 1. It will be like 3 times 10 plus 1. It will be like 3 times 11. That will be equal to 33. Simple. Now it says find g of f of 9. So first of all, we will substitute 9 into the function of f. Then whatever is the answer we get from there, we'll put that into the function of g. So g of f of 9. First of all, we have to work out f of 9. So f of 9 will be equal to 12 over square root of 9. That will be 12 over 3, which will be equal to 4. Now we'll put this 4 into the function of g. So g of f of 9 will become equal to, that's the function of g, g of x is equal to 3 times 2x plus 1. So it will become 3 times 2 times 4 plus 1. So it will become 3 times 8 plus 1. Be like 3 times 9, which will be equal to 27. So 27 will be our answer. Now in part C it says find g inverse of 6. So first of all, we have to work out g inverse of x, and then we will work out we'll just substitute 6 into x. So this is our g of x equals to 3 times 2x plus 1. Okay, let's find out g inverse of x first of all. So in order to find it out, I'll put this function equals to y. So y equals to, let's expand the bracket. It will become 6x plus 3. Now I have to make x as my subject. So it will be like minus 3 on both sides. So it will become y minus 3 equals to 6x. Now I'll divide both sides by 6. So x will become equal to y minus 3 over 6. Now I'll just switch the signs. So my g inverse of x will become equal to, I'll just replace y with x. So it will become x minus 3 over 6. Now since we are looking for g inverse of 6, so in this function wherever we see x, we'll just substitute 6 into it. So g inverse of 6 will turn into 6 minus 3 over 6. That will be equal to 3 over 6, which will be equal to 1 over 2 or 0.5. So this will be the answer, 0.5. So that's how we will do question number 19. Now let's see this one. It says question number 20. It says show that radical square root 80 minus 2 square root 5 divided by 5 square root 5 minus 5 can be written in this form. So we have to convert this expression into this form where a and b will be the integers. So let's try to work it out. So 180 minus 2 square root 5 divided by 5 square root 5 minus 5. We can write 180 as let's split 180, so it can be written as 290, 245, 5, 9, then 3, 3. So that's how we'll make the factors of 180. So 180 can be written as 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5 minus 2 square root of 5 divided by 5 square root of 5 minus 5. Now since we have a pair available in the square root, so it's, for example, 2 times 2 will become 4, so the square root of 4 will be 2, so 2 will go out. 3 times 3 is 9, so the square root of 9 is 3, so 3 will go out. So it'll be like 2 times 3 times square root of 5 minus 2 square root of 5 divided by 5 square root of 5 minus 5. 2 times 3 is like 6, so 6 square root of 5 minus 2 square root of 5 divided by 5 square root of 5 minus 5. Now 6 minus 2 will become 4 square root of 5 divided by 5 square root of 5 minus 5. Now we will rationalize it. So I'll multiply this with 5 square root of 5 plus 5 divided by 5 square root of 5 plus 5. I'll just change this sign and multiply and divide, so I can get rid of the square root from the denominator. Now in the numerator it will turn into 4 square root of 5 times 5 square root of 5 plus 5 divided by, it will become 5 square root of 5 square minus 5 square. Let's expand the bracket in the numerator, so it will become, this times this will be like 20 times 5, because square root 5 times square root of 5 will become 5. 4 times 5 will become 20, so 20 times 5 plus 4 times 5 is like 20 square root of 5 divided by 5 square is 25 times 5, that will become 125 minus 25. So 20 times 5 will become 100. I'll be like, I'll bring it here, 100 plus 20 square root of 5 divided by 100. So it can be written as 100 divided by 100 plus 20 square root of 5 divided by 100. This will get cancelled, so it will be like 1 plus times 1 times 5, so it will become square root of 5 over 5. So you see, we got our expression. A plus square root of 5 over b is this, 1 plus square root of 5 over 5. So in this case, this 1 is our a, this 5 is our b. Okay, so that's the final answer. Okay, now question number 21. In this question it says DEF is a triangle, P is the midpoint of FD, Q is the midpoint of DE. FD is vector A. Okay, vector FD is equal to A, vector FE equals to B. Use a vector method to prove that PQ is parallel to FE. PQ is parallel to FE. So first of all, you have to find out vector PQ, and then we have to find out vector FE, and then we will compare them. So if they are parallel, so they will be the scalar multiple of each other. For example, we multiply something with PQ and we will get FE, and that multiplication will be with any number. Okay, so let's work out PQ and FE first of all. That's P and that's Q. This will be the vector that we are looking for. Now what is given to us is FD and FE. FD, F to D, this whole thing FD is A. Okay, since P is the midpoint, so from F to P it'll be half of A, and from P to D it'll be again half of A. Now F to E. F to E is B, so this whole thing is B. Okay, F to E. Now we have to find out P to Q. Q is also the midpoint. So Q is the midpoint, which means these two sides are same. So let's find out DE first of all, because we want P to Q. If you want to find out P to Q, so we have to go from P to D and then from D to Q. We have P to D, but we do not have D to Q. So first of all, we have to find out DE, then we'll half it and we'll work out DQ. So let me just remove it. We are looking for DE first of all. D to E. So D to E. So D to E will be found by going from D to F and then from F to E. So DE will be equal to DF plus FE. Now DF is the opposite of FD. So when we go opposite to a vector, the symbol will become negative. The symbol will change. If a vector is positive, it will become negative. If a vector is negative, it will turn into positive. So it will be like negative A. This will be negative A, and over here plus B. So it will be like B minus A. That is DE. Now DQ is half of DE. So DQ will become equal to half of B minus A. That is DQ. So PQ will be equal to P to D plus D to Q. So let's add them up. From P to D, it's like A over 2, because now we are going from P towards D. From here to here, that's half of A, because FD is A, P is the midpoint, so P to D will be half of A. So P to D is like A by 2 plus DQ. That's the value of DQ that we just found. Half times B minus A. Let's solve it. So it'll be like A over 2 plus half B, or we can say B by 2, because it's the same thing, minus A by 2. Now A by 2 minus A by 2 will get cancelled and it will become B by 2. That can be written as half of B. So that is PQ. PQ is half of B, and FE is equal to B, which shows that these two vectors are parallel. Okay, so since PQ is a scalar multiple of FE, so vectors PQ and FE are parallel to each other. Okay. If you want to write it down, we can just say that I'll multiply PQ is equal to half of B. Let's multiply 2 on both sides. So 2PQ is equal to B. Now this vector B is equal to FE. So we can say that 2PQ is equal to FE. So they are the scalar multiple of each other, which means that they are parallel. That's done. That's a 4 marker. Now, question number 22. Okay, in this question, alright, so question number 22. In this question, it says the diagram shows two shaded shapes A and B. Shape A is formed by removing a sector of a circle with the radius 3x minus 1 centimeter from a sector of the circle with radius 5x minus 1 centimeter. Shape B is a circle of diameter 2 minus 2x centimeter. The area of shape A is equal to the area of shape B. Find the value of x. So these two shaded areas are equal to each other, and we have to their areas are equal to each other, and we have to work out the value of x. So first of all, we have to work out the area of shape A in terms of x. Then we'll work out the area of shape B in terms of x, and then we'll put them equal to each other, and from there we'll work out the value of x. So for example, this is a sector. In this sector, we have to find out the area of the bigger sector minus the unshaded area. So we'll get the shaded area. Okay, so total minus unshaded. So the total area will be 45 over 360 times pi r square. Now for the bigger sector, this will be the r. That is 3x minus 1 plus 2x. So it will become 5x minus 1. And 45 over 360 will be like 1 over 8. So 1 over 8 times pi times 5x minus 1 square. That will be the area of the bigger shape. Minus, we have to find out the area of this unshaded part, which will be 45 over 360 times pi times 3x minus 1 whole square, because that's the radius. So we'll just solve it. So 45 over 360 is like 1 over 8, so I'll just remove it and write 1 over 8. Now in this one, 1 over 8 pi is common, so I'll just take it out. Pi by 8 is taken out, so we'll be left with 5x minus 1 whole square minus 3x minus 1 whole square. So that is the area of A. Okay, let's solve it. But before that, let's find out the area of B. So that's the diameter, so the radius will become half of it. It'll become like 1 minus x. That's the radius. So it'll be like pi r square. So pi times 1 minus x square. That is the area of this triangle, this circle. That is the area of B. So we have to put them equal to each other. So pi by 8 bracket, let's expand it. So it'll be like 25x square minus 10x plus 1 minus, let's expand this bracket now. It'll become 9x square minus 6x plus 1, close the bracket, put it equal to this one, pi times 1 minus x whole square. It'll be like pi by 8. Now 25x square minus 10x plus 1 minus 9x square plus 6x minus 1 equals to pi times 1 minus 2x plus x square. So it's like a square minus 2ab plus b square. That's the formula that I've used here. Now let's cancel pi with pi, and it'll become like 1 over 8 times 25x square minus 9x squared will become 25 minus 9 will become 16x square. Then minus 10x plus 6x, it will become minus 4x. This will get cancelled, equals to 1 minus 2x plus x square. Now I'll divide both of them by 8 because this is being divided by 8. So 16 over 8 will become 2x square minus 0.5x. 4 over 8 is like 0.5x equals to 1 minus 2x plus x square. Now I'll just subtract x square on both sides. Like I'll bring all the x's on the left side, plus 2x on both sides, minus 1 on both sides. This will get cancelled, cancel, cancel. So on the left side I'll be left with x square plus 1.5x minus 1 is equal to 0. Now I'll multiply the whole equation by 2 to get rid of this decimal. So let me just copy it here. 2x square plus 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. Now I'll have to factorize it and we'll work out the value of x. In order to factorize it, I'll multiply this 2 with this 2. So 2 times 2 will become 4. So I have to make the factors of 4 so that when we multiply the two numbers we'll get 4, and when we add the two numbers we get positive 3. So 2 times negative 2 is like negative 4. We have to make the factors of negative 4 basically. So it'll be like x negative 4. So it'll be like positive 4 and negative 1, because 4 times negative 1 will be equal to negative 4, and 4 plus negative 1 will be equal to positive 3. That's the middle number. So the factors are 4 and negative 1. So I'll write it as x plus 4 and x minus 1. Now since there's a 2 over here, so I have to divide one of these terms by 2, and I have to multiply one of the two x's with 2. So I'll divide this 4 by 2 and I'll multiply the other x by 2. So it'll become x plus 2 times 2x minus 1. I'll put it equal to 0, equal to 0. Now I'll find out the two values of x. So from here, when I put x plus 2 is equal to 0, my value of x will be equal to negative 2. This is one of the value. And when I put 2x minus 1 equals to 0, so it'll become plus 1 on either sides. So it'll be like 2x is equal to 1, so x will be equal to half. So these are the two values of x. X equals to minus 2 and x equals to half. So but we have to check like which one is the suitable value, either minus 2 or half. So for example, if we substitute minus 2 over here and half over here, let's check which one is suitable. In fact, let's put negative 2 over here. 3x minus 1. 3 times negative 2 minus 1, so it will become negative 6. Negative 1 will become negative 7. So this length will become negative 7. That doesn't make sense because a length has to be positive, like always. So that value doesn't make sense. And so we will reject minus 2. And our final answer will be half. If you put half over here, so 3 times half is like 1.5. 3 times half is 1.5 minus 1, so it'll be like 0.5. That's fine. If you put half here, you'll get 1. That's fine. If you put half here, 2 minus 2 times half, it'll give us 2 minus 1. That will be equal to 1. So that's fine over here. So finally, the value of x will be equal to 1 over 2. That's the final answer. That's the whole working. If you want to take a screenshot, you can. So yeah, that's how I will do question number 22. Because it's a 5 marker, that's why it's so messy and so lengthy. But you know, the ending questions, they're like mostly like that. They will be like lengthy. They will involve multiple steps. Okay, so you have to just go step by step. Just break the bigger problem into smaller steps and try to solve each step like one by one, and it'll be all good. Okay, now the last question of this paper, question number 23. It says that there are 4 types of cards in a game. Each card has a black circle or a white circle or a black triangle or a white triangle. Okay, number of cards with a black shape ratio to number of cards with a white shape is 3:5. So this is the ratio of black and white. Number of cards with a circle ratio number of cards with a triangle is this. That's the ratio of circles and triangles. Express the total number of cards with a black shape as a fraction of total number of cards with a triangle. So basically what we have been given, let's write down the data first of all, and let's see what do you have to find out. So the data has been given black ratio white is 3:5. Okay, and circle ratio triangle is 2:7. It says express the total number of cards. You have to express the total number of cards with a black shape as a fraction of the total number of cards with a triangle. In order to do that, we have to find out the fraction of total black cards and then the fraction of total cards with triangle, and then we'll divide those two fractions and we'll get our answer. So the fraction of total black cards will be we'll derive it from here, and the fraction of total triangles will be found from here. So for the black will be 3 because it's 3 over here under the black, divided by the total. So the total will be 3 plus 5, that will be 8. That's the fraction of total black shape cards. Now let's find out the fraction of total cards with triangle. That's the ratio of triangle, 7 divided by total, 2 plus 7 is 9. Now we'll divide these two fractions and we'll get our answer. So it will be like 3 over 8 divided by 7 over 9. Keep, change, flip. So we'll keep this first fraction as it is, change this sign of division into multiplication, and flip this fraction. So it'll become 3 over 8 times 9 over 7. Now we'll just multiply them. So 3 times 9 will become 27. 8 times 7 will become 56. We cannot solve it further. So that will be our final fraction, and this is our paper 1 of 2020 Pearson Edexcel GCSE higher tier. We are done with it. If you have any questions, you can mention in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to help you with that. Alright, that's it. Thanks a lot.